Testing. Is this thing on?
Good old Biden. All right, fire away.
So, what are the first thoughts when you hear that?
This is a country that had terrorists that attacked us in 2001. We went to war for 20 years, and we just left them with a bunch of military equipment that they can use to attack other countries potentially.
It seems like a giant waste of time, first of all, and a giant step back, and just live. So many people's families were taken, in this, and
It's like they don't care.
it's like they don't care at all.
And I think, I mean, how do you feel about the fact that we went into this country, we spent so much time and energy, and then I know we were going to pull out at some point, but then Biden just pulls us out of the country. Just
Yeah, I think he's a nut job, honestly, and I don't think, I think he's literally the definition of a puppet. He makes statements basically saying that he's not allowed to answer questions, or like he's not allowed to.
I heard him say that, yeah.
And it's just so weird that it's like because when you're president, you're commander in chief.
Yeah.
That you're the commander in chief.
You're in charge
of the whole military. You're of everything.
Yep.
Who are you not allowed to take questions?
Yeah.
It's like
I don't even think that he's saying that, but that's not reality. I have a feeling that it's going to make him look bad. If he says something, I think he's going to look bad, and he knows it, so he's protecting himself. He wants to make sure he doesn't say something wrong for the next election.
Yeah, it makes sense because he can't think. I think he can't think straight. So if somebody, formulates a question that he is not prepared, doesn't have a prepared answer for, he might say some shit, like he always does, and people are going to be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Because I don't think he really does know what he's talking about.
The other reason that he probably doesn't say stuff, in my opinion, is because he knows he's going to get pummeled by the media, and they're going to catch him, making, like, what was the reason? Why did we pull out the way that we did? Why did we execute it the way that we did? It was so sloppy, and it makes no sense to me. And I know there's probably people that are going to say, well, there's no easy way to pull out of a country like that. But, the way that it was done is just batshit nuts, in my opinion.
I don't even think it was literally well thought. And I think he's saying now, coming out and telling the media that they can agree that it wasn't well thought out.
The other problem is they don't have, a solid government built, and it's like they struggle to build that democracy that we have. They just don't have it, and it's almost like obviously the Taliban doesn't want that as much as they say that they do. They really don't. They want it to be a communist type country where they're in control.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But did you see the video? I don't remember if I sent it to you or not, with the commandos, where they came out because they were surrounded by the Taliban, and this was just after we pulled out majority of our military, and they came out with their hands up because they were out of bullets, and then as one of the Taliban was filming it on their camera, and they just started firing and killing them, unarmed, blasted them. Just
cold blood.
And those are the commandos that were like in charge of, were trained by our military to, take over and try to help the country, get rebuilt. And they lived there, and they had no remorse. They did not give a crap, and they just blasted them.
Yeah, well, literally, I just seen the video too. You literally got people willing to hang on to the outside of an aircraft just to get away from what's going on in their country. Like, how bizarre is that actually? Like somebody's actually willing to do something so crazy and dangerous just to escape.
They're desperate.
Just to escape the environment they're in. And it makes you
it's
kind of...
sad.
It's so sad that it just makes you just you're grateful for everything that you have in life. You pray for everything to get better for everyone else, and you just have to realize how grateful you are. Everybody out here, especially in America, we should
Mm.
be so grateful that we have the freedom to do, you know, everything we want to do, chase our dreams, you know, live the American dream because people are fighting for us. And not everywhere in the world has that same freedom. So we got it good.
We do.
I really think it all works. I'm not supposed to take any questions, but go ahead.
Mr. President, on Afghanistan,
I'm not going to answer Afghanistan now.
can you say
It seems like he's always pressed, to answer the tough questions because that's a job that he has. But then he fails to do that, and it disturbs me to think that there are so many people that voted this guy in, and I'm not bagging on him at all. Like, I'm all for him. I'm. It's not for me. It's not about Republican versus Democrat. It's about who is best fit to be the president, and he's failing at his job right now, right? There's nothing good about what he's done. There's nothing good about how he's handling it, the situation.
When Trump was president, it was, people were so, I mean, I guess it's the same, different, both parties just are going to hate on the other
Yeah.
man. That's it.
Yeah, I believe that there's nothing, no matter what way you go, there's always going to be hate.
But
We're going to get hate.
The media definitely, I feel like, like with what's going on at the borders and everything. Like the media was covering, saying it was all Trump's fault and everything, but the same situation's basically going on right now at this day. It's even more people are coming in, and you don't see that type of media coverage still,
It's biased.
and putting
sure.
the blame all on Biden, and it's just kind of weird, but the media is going to cover what they want to cover, because they got their owned companies. So,
Well, they're very democratic too. The media's always been, most of the media are owned by Democrats, so it makes sense that they're going to push their own agenda. But it doesn't seem like they're doing that at press conferences when it comes to Afghan, because they realize he's not handling it well. He's done a poor job under this situation.
when do you think was the right time to pull out of Afghan?
Me personally, I think when we captured Osama bin Laden, I think at that point when we killed him, but we captured him. When he was captured, I feel like that was kind of the peak of that time being in Afghan, and it's like, okay, we're still gonna stay there. Like, that to me seemed bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why didn't we pull out after Osama bin Laden?
Or at least like 2 years, 3 years after, because we stayed in there for like I feel like what
long
felt
time.
like was like 10 years after.
Yeah, he was captured in 2011. So, yeah,
10 years after.
that seems excessive to me. I mean, we could have done like a 12-month plan after he was captured and was like, you're on your own,
Or
guys.
a 36-month plan,
Yeah.
like anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we did a 10-year plan.
it was it seemed like a last second decision, something that just happened.
So really, we could blame Barack Obama, since he was the president in 2011. In reality, as much as he did a good job, it's like, it's kind of crazy that he stayed in Afghan, and knowing that this country, we'd been in there for already a decade. We now captured this guy who led, the assault in 2001. I mean, I would love to be like, why did you stay there? Because we got nowhere in another decade.
So it is kind of messed up, because then Trump's like, okay, we're still there, like we got to pull them out, and it's like, but then, and then he gets blamed for it, but it's like Obama should have been working on that a while ago, during his presidency still. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like it could just keep going back. It's George Washington's fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can just blame all the presidents above. You're all to blame.
They set each other up
fools.
for the next 4 years or 8 years.
Let me ask you something else. In 2001, I remember I was working, and I remember literally I was on lunch break and I was watching the TV, watching the planes go into the towers in 2001, and I was just like taken back so much, and I could not believe what I was seeing. It was like we didn't know at the time it was terrorist, but I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, what horrible pilot just flew right into buildings like in New York City? That is batshit crazy. In 2001, we were attacked. Do you think we should have went to war with this country?
You have to assert your dominance as a country. How do you think all the Biden supporters feel right now? Do you think they're still supporting him?
Yeah. I believe that a lot of them are backing him up because they know that even though that he's done it in a terrible way to pull out, they're basically saying things like it's an impossible job, and it's like, how do you get out of that country, and how do you pull out? And we kept saying we were going to do it, and we didn't do it, and it was just an ongoing issue. And most of it they claim isn't. It comes down to the territory. It's so difficult in that country based on the geography. It's like impossible for us to deal with in that country. With the terrain it's like it's a nightmare, and that kind of makes me think like, yeah, we needed to go in there and do the Osama bin Laden stuff, but it's like after that, why didn't we pull out? 12-month plan done.
Mm-hmm.
That now it's your problem. We went after the guy that did what he did. We got to go.
You just pull out, and then the Taliban now has access to $85 billion worth of U.S. equipment. It doesn't make sense, right? Am I just tripping, or does that not? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well,
they didn't finish the job. That's the thing.
The fact that we left the equipment is sloppy. That is just insane. I honestly have no idea why the decision was made to leave all the equipment.
The job should have been finished, before pulling out.
But they couldn't finish the job. That's the problem.
What, like in a sense that it was never ending?
The fact was that they could not complete it because even today the Taliban is still there. And they just could not because they were dressed in plain clothes, and the terrain was a problem. There was a lot of issues with that country, and that's what they claim. There's no end in sight into a positive note. It was like we just have to let the Taliban take over.
So it was basically just like we tried our best. Right.
That's what it feels like. I'm not saying that's the right decision at all.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's basically what we did. That's kind of why I feel like we should have pulled out with Osama bin Laden. Like, the fact that we continued to stay, somebody gave false hope to somebody at the president's level, probably. There's no excuse why Biden left that much equipment in a country, unattended with a terrorist group.
Exactly.
It's insane.
That's just negligence.
Yeah.
If any attacks do happen, how responsible would you find Biden?
Very responsible, because it's his job. He's the commander-in-chief. There's no excuses. It's his job to make sure he cleans up all the stuff that was there in the country, and the fact that he didn't do it, boggles my mind. I mean, here's a guy that's supposed to be, he's so well beloved in the country. Why are you acting like a fool? Why are you not doing something, about this equipment that you left behind? And it's like leaving guns to,
a terrorist group.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen if you leave guns with a terrorist group? Does anybody know? They do bad shit. Yeah. I mean, they left billions of dollars worth of equipment, billions of dollars. Apache, helicopters, night vision goggles. I mean, all the great things that a terrorist needs.
And we can't get a tax break?
Seriously.
I'm just joking.
But it's like, you basically equipped them to attack again. I mean,
some life we live in.
leave in the comments why Biden and it made the decision that he did to leave the equipment, and it was a good decision, and why was it a good decision? That's what I want to know.
I want to know that too. $85 billion worth of war equipment unattended for.
No excuses.
Let us know in the comments.